Hello, guys. Welcome back. My name is Zach, and this is the top five do not do list that I promised y'all coming this evening. So it is 9 p.m. on a Monday evening, and I'm just winding down from my day. And I was like, let me make this quick top five don't do video. Catch y'all up tomorrow on everything I did today. So, anyway, number one on the list. Now let me start at the bottom. Number five is smoking cigarettes and or drugs. I mean, the obviousness of quitting something like that is so beyond explanation. I don't know anybody that smokes that hasn't tried to quit or that thinks it's healthy for you, e-cigarette or a regular cigarette. I mean, I could listen to the argument on both sides of which one's worse, but nobody's really arguing which one's better. Um, Both just packed with chemicals. Google how many ingredients are in a cigarette. You would guess if you didn't know already. I mean, you'd guess like there's tobacco and probably some preservatives and flavorings, and you'd guess maybe 5 or 10 or even 20 ingredients. I'm not even going to tell you. You got to Google it. It's ridiculous. So this is something I did in the Healthy, Wealthy, Happy series. If you'll watch his first 10 videos before I even started fasting and losing weight, I quit smoking the e-cigarette, and it's been gone ever since. So it worked. So that was number five. We're working our way up to the worst. So number four is drink alcohol, and I will add any liquid calories really. I think I think like a can of pop is probably even worse than a can of beer in a lot of ways. Like a light beer might only have like 3 or 4 carbs, where a can of pop might have 50 or 60. It doesn't have the alcohol, but it just has so much more poisonous sugar. And you're talking about fatty liver disease and having that just pouring out into your abdomen cavity. There's just you see guys with like this big stomach, but like small arms and small legs and small neck, and then a big stomach. I mean, it's an obvious fatty liver disease. So reduce it down. If you're gonna have a can of soda, do it once a week when you're out to dinner or something. Although once you start reducing it, you're not gonna want to do it. It's just so bad. The more research you do, I don't even and definitely don't think diet soda is any better. It may be worse. There's just nobody doing in-depth scientific research to prove it one way or the other as far as what would be worse, but everybody knows they're both bad. Regular and diet sodas are just terrible. The artificial sweeteners, well, they're artificial. God created the food that we're going to eat. If you look in the Garden of Eden, without getting into too great a detail, but he said, eat the fruit of the trees of the garden. And, so we're obviously meant to eat fruit. And then Leviticus 11 talks about what meat to eat. And, Jesus broke the bread. So, although the bread that we have is not like the bread they have, you need to buy like fresh baked bread in an open market that was never put in a baggie, and not it doesn't have all that white dust on it, which is mold. That's why they bleach it, so that the mold is white, and you see all that powdery stuff on bread. It's mold. So anyway, cut down the alcohol down to nothing, and don't drink any soda. Like I said, I drink maybe one, or if I drink 3 drinks in one week, then it's easy to just go 3 weeks with 0 drinks. I don't really count or keep track, or like, oh, I've only had 2 this week. Or I've only had 1 this. I don't even pay attention. If I want to drink, I have one, and I mostly don't though. Today I did not. Yesterday I did not. The day before I had a beer. Maybe in the last week I had 1 drink. Maybe 2. Yeah, I don't even keep track. It's very low, and it would be no big deal to just get rid of that as well. So quit smoking cigarettes and e-cigarettes. Quit using nicotine products. They're just terrible. Avoid, reduce alcohol, eliminate soda and diet soda. That's 5 and 4. Number 3 is refined grains, and I will just say more in a bigger scope of what refined grains are is processed foods. So just limit your processed foods, like even a protein bar, like even this. I mean, this is keto bar I told you I've been working on eating. It's so huge. It's a supplement to a diet, but it's a processed food, and it's you want to eat the whole foods. Like I said, if you had to pick a overarching, basically healthy, includes everything that God created for us to eat, it'd be like the paleo diet. Meat and eggs and fruits and vegetables and nuts and berries and that's about it. That's a ton of food though. There's just so many of all those things. I mean, if all you did was eat a different piece of fruit every day for your meal, um, you know, I don't even know how many months you can go or a year without even eating the same thing yet. So, cutting out the refined grains and the processed foods is just a no-brainer. I mean, if you tie this in with the 5 to-do list from the other day, the 5 things to do to improve your overall health and wellness, and then, because they cover it all anyway, and then this is just telling you, hey, this is what you're not doing. You are doing these things, and these are what you're not doing. So number 2 is oils, not including olive oil, and to the best of my knowledge, coconut oil and avocado oil are still really high level. I'm really not sure about the avocado oil, but I believe if it's like organic olive oil, just expeller pressed, cold pressed, whatever they call it. I'm not a super scientist researching on the oil, but I know I've watched enough doctors on YouTube talking about like eating salads, and it's the only reason you should eat them is so that you have something to put olive oil on. And I love it. You put the olive oil and apple cider vinegar, mix that up 50-50 and dump that on your salad, and it's so good. But the like seed oils and vegetable oils, I mean, think about the way God created food to be consumed. It takes like a ton of corn to make vegetable oil. It's like concentrated. I mean, you can eat corn, but then you concentrate hundreds of years in it to make a few tablespoons, and it's just obviously not in the state that it was created to be consumed. So just for the oil, just boil it down to olive oil and coconut oil. Um, and I only use olive oil myself. Rarely I buy coconut oil, and rarely I buy avocado oil, just to change it up a little bit. Like if I'm gonna fry some chicken and I want it to be a little different, I might fry it in coconut oil. And what was I using? Avocado oil. I mean, they have very distinct flavors over olive oil. But so anyway, number 1 is sugar. And again, sugar is a pretty broad statement. Like all carbohydrates are converted into glucose in your body. So everything that is carbohydrates could be called sugar. So you need to define that a little better. I mean, ice cream is sugar, broccoli is sugar. It's just what percentages, what contents, what else is in there. And God created the fruits and the vegetables with the carbohydrate content that includes fiber and a natural sugar. I mean, like let's say table sugar, which is in America anyway, is mostly made out of beets, and in a lot of the rest of the world, and including in America as well, is cane sugar. It's super refined down. Beets don't taste like sugar. You got to process the hell out of them. So it's like if you ate the beets, you'd be fine. But then beet sugar, no, it's been processed and refined down to just have nothing but the glucose spiking sugar in your body, affecting your insulin levels and your hormones, and something you should really do to just be aware, because your doctors won't even tell you that you're diabetic. Like you can have an A1C of 6.5, and that's the first tick of diabetes, and they don't even say anything because they're trained to treat you like a third grade level of acceptance and discipline, and you're not going to do what they say. So they treat you like you're just too foolish to take care of yourself. And well, for the most part, they're probably right. But hopefully, if you're watching my channel, you've decided to increase your intelligence a little bit, which is what I'm doing here as well. We're learning together. But I was diagnosed with diabetes in 2016, January 23rd, 2016. And within like 60 days, it was gone, and it's still gone. My last 2 A1C checks, the last one I took a few months back was 5.9 before I started training for this half marathon. But the one before that, I had been training hard for some months, doing the fasting in January, February, and March. That's when I had it to like 5.9. The one before that was like 5.4. That was when I was training for my last half marathon like 24 months ago. So my 5.4 is non-diabetic and 5.9 is pre-diabetic. So those are pretty good numbers for a person that had A1C over 11 at one point. But I'm sure my A1C is closer to the 5.9 right now than the 5.4. That reminds me, I may order some blood test strips. We'll just go live and just show your fasting blood sugars. So like if you eat dinner at like 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, like I'm eating my noon to 8 window, so that went great today. And sleep, quit eating, and then drink some water, whatever, go to bed, and don't eat breakfast, and wake up the next morning and check your blood sugar. And it should be after like a 10 or 12 hour fast, it should be below 100. That's just a cheap little prick your finger and stick the little test in there and poke it in there. It's a real easy way to is your insulin controlling your blood sugar on its own. And if you're doing the top 5 to-do list and you're not doing the top 5 to don't list, and you're probably going to be good to go, especially if you're not overweight. If you're overweight, that extra body fat it's choking out your organs. The fat is all around your liver, your kidneys, your pancreas, your gallbladder, and your digestive system, and you need to remove it. We got to get rid of this, guys. This is damaging to your health. this is not healthy. So let's rededicate ourselves, refocus ourselves. I got out there today. I ran my 5 by 1,000 meter sprints. I actually messed it up. I didn't hit the right button on my watch, and I took off running, and then I hit the button, and then I was like, oh, now I'm starting. I ran 1,000, and then I messed up and I wanted to have it recorded on my Garmin properly. So then I ran 5 more. So I ended up running 6,000 meters, and I felt great. Like, it was a fun workout. It was boiling hot out. I liked it. And it showed the difference between my run on Saturday, where I just was brutally dying running in the heat 12 miles, and it was just torturous. First 4 miles were fine, and then I hated it for 8, where today it was 6,000 meters. What did that end up being? And then I walked in for like 2 minutes in between. It was like 4.5 mile workout or something like that, so just I was dripping in sweat. It was boiling hot. Got my filled up all my water bottles with the locally sourced spring water, which is one of the top 5 to-dos, is drink the fresh, clean, purest water you can find. So top 5 don't eat sugar, don't eat the oils, don't eat refined grains or processed foods, don't drink alcohol or calories, and stop smoking cigarettes. And I just put a little or drugs, like people that think marijuana is healthy for you or a better option. It's just mind-blowing to me, because that's what it does. You're trading your brain cells to be killed for your kidney to be damaged. It's like, this is not a trade-off. This is just 2 things that are terrible for you. So I would encourage you to discontinue the massive damage you're doing to your brain. But it seems like they have most of the country convinced that marijuana is just great for you because it has its medical purposes. But let's be honest, 99.99% of people that use marijuana on a daily basis are not using it for any medical purpose. If you think you just need it to survive, well, it is not the solution you need. The solution I do not have. Jesus Christ has that. You're going to have to ask him for that, because he is the way, the truth, and the life. And knowing him will set you free. When you drink from his fountain, you will never thirst again. He is the living waters that we consume for actual life. And I encourage you all to give your life to Jesus Christ. These end times are crazy, and it's just so frustrating. I quit watching the news years ago, but it's so hard to not hear about it and just know that the world is collapsing around us. 20 million people have invaded our country, and there's just nothing that I can do. I have to trust in the Lord. And believe that the word of God is going to come to pass as it is written. So, all right, guys, we're getting a little sidetracked, but I wanted to double tap on this top 5 to don't do's to remember donuts. And just think about how devastating they are for your health, because they have the top 3 things all in them. They have sugar, they're fried in oil, and they are refined grain. So there's a refined grain, refined food, processed dough, fried in oil, coated in sugar. It's the 3 top things you don't want to do. So if you can remember to not eat donuts, you should remember in your mind what those 3 things are: the dough, the oil, and the sugar. And then lower your drinking and quit smoking. Don't lower your smoking. You just go cold turkey. Just throw it away. It's going to suck for about a week, and then it's going to suck for about a year. However long, you got to just change your behavior, to change your habits. Don't even eat healthy food to try to quit smoking. I would say maybe drink water. But when I first quit smoking in 2001, when my first child was born, I quit smoking about a month before she was born, and I weighed like maybe 205 pounds. And then by the time she was born, I weighed like 275 pounds. And it's to this day where I have all this extra weight still. So just look how nicotine messed up my metabolism that bad. And quitting it, I got a habit of sticking. I was eating carrot sticks and bananas and healthy food, but just massive amounts to compensate for the 2 packs of cigarettes I was puffing down before that. But I did it cold turkey. I went from 2 packs a day to none, and quit. And it's been 22 years. And then I smoked the e-cigarette off and on for a year or 2 or whatever, and then I quit that now. So that's been like 9 months. So I'm done with that too. So that's the top 5 don't do, guys. Don't eat sugar, don't eat oil, don't eat refined grains or processed foods, don't drink alcohol or any liquid calories, and don't smoke cigarettes and or drugs. Because God is blessing us all if we will just allow the light of Jesus Christ into our hearts. Because he loves you guys. I love you, and I'll catch you guys in the next episode.